Hello everyone, it's Özgün here. In this tutorial, we will make a first look of the human plugins by MixedInKey. When we are making music, we always avoid to sound robotic, and we always say like we gotta sound more humanized. And human plugins by MixedInKey claim that they can give you one of the best humanizing options with only using just one knob. And today I like to create a drop idea and then gonna test the human plugins and if it's making my music more humanized instead of sounding more robotic. And if you're ready, let's get into that tutorial. So first, I like to create a drop idea as I said, and for that I'm gonna start putting my kick drum. Let's lower the volume just a little bit for the kick. So we got some headroom. Guys, we can always layer some acoustic samples with our real drum kits. If you do that, your track is gonna start sounding more organic, other than robotic. For that, I can just grab this Kashmir acoustic kick, for example. But I can just layer it with my original kick. But we already have the click and the punch of our kick. We just need the tail of it to just get the organic humanized vibe of it. I'm gonna just do it like that, so we can just use the tail of the acoustic sample. Like that. Even we can send this one to here. And in here we can just quickly low cut. And just layer with the main kick. And also we can layer some hi-hats, I mean the acoustic hi-hats. So my sample pack on Clubwork has the acoustic hi-hats. I'm gonna grab one of them. So you can just choose any of you like. Even we can lower it more. And let's shorten it because we just need the texture of it. Now we give our kick drum more life, more human touch. Okay, this is going to be the kick. And probably if I route this hi-hat to here, so we can just group the kick in one channel. And it's time to just write some fast bass line. I'm gonna go with the rolling bass line to be fast. Let's put it like that. And let's don't forget to send it to its own channel for just side chaining purposes. I like to give just a little bit saturation to the bass. Okay, this is a good level to stay. And I'm gonna create a head group. Maybe we can use one of the hi-hats like that. It can just count the BPM. Let's send it to here. Call it hat 1. Let's get another hi-hat, and this time we can just place it to the off beats. Maybe I can just do it on a separate channel. So let's call hat 1. Let's put it like that as hat 2. We gotta always just take a look of the ADSR settings when we are programming drums. Make sure your drums, your hi-hats, your samples not overlapping to the next bar. So if you just do that with ADSR settings in here, you can make your drums sound more tight. Let's take a look of the other hi-hat. Yeah, let's shorten it up a little bit. Or maybe we can just change the rhythm of it, something like that. Maybe this fits better. We can do it like that. So I want to do like that. In here, we got the open head. So what if I just lower the velocity a little bit? Then we can just get some space for the open head as well. And I like to give some kickstart to the rolling hi-hat, the hi-hat 1. And lastly, I like to put some claps, just like that. Next thing is definitely gonna be the ARP. In this kind of drops, we always use the arpeggiators. So let's put it in here, call it ARP. And I'm gonna write a very simple pattern. Just like that. So we can loop this phrase once more. And maybe we can put the E and F notes 1 octave higher. Yeah, and I'm changing the ending so we are not making it too repetitive. And let's place the ARP like that. And lastly, I like to create a lead, just a melody pattern. Let's figure it out, something like that. Yeah, sounds nice. I'm gonna place it to here, call it lead. And I think that's all for the drop idea. So as you see, I haven't done anything on the humanization yet. The track, when you check the MIDI, everything just hits to the grid perfectly, and which causing our track to sound like a little bit robotic. And if you are especially making this kind of music, you gotta humanize your sounds. Even with the other genres, you gotta always humanize the leads, the drums. Most of the time, you gotta humanize your drums. So you can always do that by manually by hand, but it's gonna take too much time, because there are in the end, in the full track, there will be tons of tracks, and the solution comes from here. I find these human plugins and it works perfectly in this kind of situations, and it's saving so much time. So we will try the human plugin on all of the channels, but let's start with the hi-hat. Let's start with the hi-hat, because in the hi-hat you will see it very clearly. I'm gonna put the human plugins to the hi-hat channel, and we can just open the LFO tool to monitor how it works. And when it's off, there won't be any change. And look what happens when I give humanization. Yeah, you probably won't gonna use the humanize max because it's gonna create a mess in especially these kind of tracks. But I think like those first 5 or 6 portion of the plugin is the sweet spot of it. So probably I would go for organic feel. As you see and hear, every hit is slightly different than the other, but it's not breaking the overall groove and the vibe of the track. So we will leave it in here, and I'm gonna put the human to the next hi-hat as well. By the way, they are, as you see, connected to each other. If you change the groove, it's gonna change the groove to all of the human plugins, so you don't need to do it manually. And this is hi-hat too. You see, like, it's changing the position, it's changing the velocity, and it's changing something I don't know, but it sounds like a real human, a real drummer just playing the track. Okay, let's try it on the claps as well. It's perfect. I don't need to do it. You know, if I need to do it, I need to go to every clip and change its position manually, change its velocity manually. This plugin saves me tons of time. And we can also use it on the kick and the bass, but I don't recommend it to use it on the kick drum, especially because in electronic dance music, in this kind of tracks, we want to hit the kick always the same. So we don't want to humanize our kick drum, but the rest should be humanized. Let's take a look to ARP and the lead channels. Let me separate them before we take a look. So for ARP, we will put it to the synth mode. So I think when we put to the live session, the ARP kind of go too sloppy, but I think warm human touch or organic feel, both of them sounds very good. I'm gonna put it to let's put it on warm human touch to see, you know, to clearly and easily see what the plugin does in the end. And let's apply this to the lead as well. Again, I'm just gonna save it because this is also a synth. I mean, it's so subtle change, but like psychologically, I know this one sounds more human, less robotic. And I think we gotta hear like everything how it sounds. Before we listen the full track and compare with human plugins and without, I like to show you just a quick tip on human plugins, how you can also work on them. So as you see now, we are putting the human plugins to the mixer, and then it's just processing the sound. After the plugin, after, for example, Serum generates the sounds, the human plugins are just processing the generated sound. But if you want to keep it even more clean, there are one more human plugin that you can use, which is the human MIDI. So this works like that. Let me just deactivate it from the lead to show you how it works. I'm gonna do like that. I'm gonna go to the settings of the plugin, settings of the human MIDI, and we will put the output port, let's say MIDI port 5. And I'm gonna go to the Serum, and this time we will make the input of the Serum 5. And now if I just cut and copy the MIDI, the lead MIDI, to the human plugins. Now the human plugins are gonna humanize the MIDI and send it to the Serum. And then you will get a better quality sound. Because the previous way is processing the sound itself, it's still perfect. But this is more than perfect, you know, because you are just humanizing MIDI inside of another plugin and feeding the Serum with already humanized MIDI. Then the outcome is gonna have zero artifacts, zero bad artifacts of humanizing. But just a small reminder, when you are using a human MIDI, you gotta just calculate the latency because there will be latency on the plugins, on the both of the synths. So if you just try to use it like that, you will hear it late. To prevent that, you gotta just check the human MIDI and see how many milliseconds latency does it give. And so it's 50 milliseconds. You gotta go to the Serum, and it has 0.1, so we can just write here like 51, and then it's gonna fixed. So using the MIDI is gonna give you a better sound, but you gotta just calculate the latency manually. If you know how to do it automatically, just let me know in the comment section. And this is the solution I come up with. And don't forget to EQ and sidechain deletes. I mean, just the basic low cuts. And let me do it the same for ARP, then we can be able to listen how it sounds with the human plugins. Like, it sounds perfect to me. It sounds so organic. And as you see, like, all of the channels are doing a different type of humanizing amount. So it's not all of the channels always same. It's just relatively calculating with each other to get this like whole human vibe. And also, I think I forget to change the human MIDI from drums to the synth. It already sounding good, but let's be sure we are choosing the right option in there. Okay, I quickly changed the ending of the lead. Okay, let me get a render how it sounds. And we will get another render without the human plugins. We can just compare them. I wish they add some global bypass to here. You know, like shift click, control click to bypass all of the human plugins. Maybe in the next update, they can bring it here. We will see about it. And yeah, now we don't have human. Let's render this one as well. Okay, it's comparison time. This top one is the human plugin on. The bottom one is off. And you can tell me which one do you like. Guys, personally, yeah, the human plugins are making a huge job. It's like more than I expect because I don't hear any bad artifacts. I don't hear anything about manipulating how the sound is manipulating. I just hear it sounds more organic than the other one. The other one sounds way more robotic. Everything is on the grid all the time and it doesn't sound humanized. And if I wanted to compare them, the human plugins with the humanizing on, I think that's definitely that would be my first choice. So currently when I check their website, the human plugins are on 50% off and you can just 30-day money back guarantee. If you don't like the plugin, you can just give it back. And I recommend you to just take a look of this plugin if you want to humanize your tracks very fastly with just one plugin without needed to work on the every channel to make them humanized. Yeah guys, today I'll show you how to get humanized, less robotic, more human sounds with just using only one plugin. I hope this video gives you inspiration and teach you something. Today that was it guys. See you on the next video. Bye bye.